Colorado coach Deion Sanders questions honesty of Big 12 injury reports. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders questioned whether other Big 12 conference teams are accurately reporting pregame injuries after a new injury report this week showed Colorado with 20 players on the list compared to only one for Arizona. Colorado hosts Arizona in a homecoming game Saturday at Folsom Field. Big 12 teams are required by the league to report any uncertainties regarding a player's participation in a coming game. "Let's tell the truth, and we do," Sanders said on the Colorado Football Coaches Show Thursday, October 30th. "I guess everybody else is lying because there's no way nobody's that healthy." In the high-stakes, high-visibility world of major college football, where every sliver of information can be a competitive advantage, Deion Sanders, the transformative and unapologetically candid head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, has once again positioned himself as a challenger to the sport's established norms. Never one to shy away from the spotlight or a contentious issue, Coach Prime has cast a powerful beam of scrutiny onto the Big 12 Conference's newly implemented injury reporting policy. His recent comments have ignited a firestorm of debate, questioning not just the accuracy of opponent injury lists, but the very honesty and integrity of his coaching peers, all while navigating the most challenging stretch of his inaugural season in Boulder. The controversy erupted in the lead-up to Colorado's crucial homecoming game against the Arizona Wildcats. As per the Big 12's new mandate for transparency, teams are required to submit a pre-game report detailing any uncertainties regarding a player's availability. When the week's reports were released, the disparity was glaring and, in Sanders' view, utterly implausible. The Colorado Buffaloes list was extensive, featuring 20 players whose status was in question. In stark contrast, the Arizona Wildcats, their upcoming opponents, reported only a single player on their list. For a coach who has built his legendary brand on a foundation of authenticity and speaking his mind, this discrepancy was more than a strategic curiosity. It was an affront to his principles. During his weekly appearance on the Colorado Football Coaches Show on Thursday, October 30th, Sanders did not mince words. With his characteristic blend of charisma and bluntness, he laid the issue bare. "Let's tell the truth, and we do," Sanders stated firmly to the show's host, Mark Johnson. He then delivered the line that would reverberate across the college football landscape. "I guess everybody else is lying because there's no way nobody's that healthy." This pointed accusation, while not naming any specific coach or institution, strikes at the heart of a fundamental tension in modern athletics. On one side, there is the age-old tradition of gamesmanship, the strategic art of withholding information to keep an opponent guessing. Coaches have long been guarded about injuries, fearing that revealing a player's weakness or absence could be exploited in game planning. On the other side is the new era of sports, heavily influenced by the legalization and proliferation of sports gambling. The Big 12, like other major conferences, introduced its mandatory injury reporting policy this season with the explicit goal of promoting transparency. The league's intention is to level the playing field for information, thereby preventing insider knowledge about player health from being illicitly traded in the shadowy, high-stakes world of sports betting. Sanders, however, suggests that this policy is only effective if all parties adhere to it in both letter and spirit. His team, he argues, has been a model of compliance. The Buffalo's injury reports have been consistently long throughout the season, often including not just key starters but also backup players and individuals who have seen limited or no playing time. This comprehensive approach, according to Sanders, is a reflection of his commitment to absolute honesty. "The last thing I want is my name slandered for lying," he passionately declared. "I don't lie. I'm not gonna placate nothing. Let's tell the truth. And we do." This commitment to transparency has created a recurring pattern that fuels his frustration. He posed a rhetorical question that encapsulated his bewilderment. "Why do we always have 100 guys on the injury report and the other team I look over and they have 2 guys? Are we the only ones being honest?" The most compelling piece of evidence supporting Sanders' skepticism came from the Buffalo's previous game, a humbling 53-7 road loss to the Utah Utes. In the days leading up to that contest, the disparity was even more pronounced than with the Arizona report. Colorado's initial list featured more than 25 players. Utah, a physical and highly competitive team, listed only 3. The intrigue deepened around the status of Utah's starting quarterback, Devin Dampier. Initially, Dampier was listed as questionable, a designation that immediately put his participation in doubt. Later in the week, his status was upgraded to probable in a subsequent report. By game day, he had vanished from the injury report entirely, signaling to the world and to Colorado's coaching staff that he was fully available and expected to play. Yet, when the game kicked off, Dampier remained on the sidelines and did not take a single snap. The episode raised serious questions. Was this a genuine, last-minute health issue? Or was it a calculated act of gamesmanship designed to force Colorado to prepare for a quarterback who was never going to play? Utah coach Kyle Whittingham later offered an explanation, stating that Dampier wasn't feeling it before the game and was only available as an emergency backup. While plausible, the ambiguity of the statement and the sequence of events provided ample ammunition for those, like Sanders, who are skeptical about the league's new system. It highlighted a significant gray area. What truly constitutes an uncertainty worthy of reporting, and how can the league enforce a uniform interpretation of that standard? It is important to note, however, that Sanders' claim of tripling our opponents in reported injuries is not always a literal truth. The data shows some variation. For instance, before Colorado's victory against Iowa State on October 11th, the initial injury report was far more balanced. Colorado listed 21 players, while Iowa State reported a comparable 17. This suggests that not every opponent is as parsimonious with their injury list as Sanders' more pointed examples might imply. Nonetheless, the perception of a widespread disparity remains, and Sanders' public challenge has forced the issue into the open. He has emphasized that his program's process is meticulous, involving daily consultations with his training staff to ensure the report is as comprehensive and accurate as possible. This entire episode is unfolding against the backdrop of a challenging period for the Colorado program. The loss to Utah was not just a defeat. It was the worst loss of Deion Sanders' college coaching career. The lopsided score was a stark reminder of the difficult road ahead for a program undergoing a massive, top-to-bottom rebuild. The emotional toll on Sanders was evident. In a move that speaks volumes about his dedication and intense desire to win, he revealed that he had not returned to his home in the days following the loss. Instead, he stayed at the team's facilities, immersing himself in film study and strategic planning, desperate to diagnose the problems and get his team back on track. "I'm a perfectionist," he explained. "I want to win. And then, if you don't, I want to figure out why." He finally went home on the Wednesday before the Arizona game, but his actions demonstrated a man under immense pressure, unwilling to accept mediocrity. His frustration over the injury reports is likely compounded by the on-field struggles, another element in a complex puzzle he is determined to solve. As the Buffaloes prepare for their homecoming game, a small but interesting logistical note adds another layer to the weekend's events. The Colorado-Arizona game is scheduled for a 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff on the FS1 network. However, the broadcast is contingent on the outcome of the Major League Baseball World Series. The network confirmed to USA Today Sports that if the Toronto Blue Jays were to win the championship against the Los Angeles Dodgers on Friday, the football game would be moved to the main Fox broadcast channel. Conversely, if the Dodgers were to force a decisive Game 7, that game would occupy the Fox slot, and the Colorado-Arizona contest would remain on FS1.